Happy Monday, everybody. Today's November 24th. Let's go over the games happened on November 23rd, Sunday. All right, we got the first game, early game. The Miami Heat beat the 76ers 127, 117. The Miami Heat every single year they do the same thing. They don't look at the roster talent. By the way, Tyler Hero is going to be back tonight, I think, or whenever they play the next game. The Miami Heat is 10-6, 7-3 in the last 10. I would say Norman Powell, he's still going to be very good, but not this good. 32 points, missed a bunch of free throws, hit 4 threes, continue to be unbelievable. But with Tyler Hero back, I do expect him to. He's still going to play a lot of minutes, but his usage got to come down a bit. Davion Mitchell had 12 assists. I think, yeah, his time might be up, but we still hold on to him, see what happens. He might still have value in the next couple games. And same thing with Triple J. When Tyler Hero comes back, what's going to happen to him with his minutes, we have no idea. You know who else has been playing really, really well? Kawhi Ware. My goodness, 20 points. He's a team best plus 26. 20 points, 16 rebounds, 8 offensive rebounds, and 2 blocks with 2 threes. Sorry, 2 steals and 2 threes. He's been unbelievable. And, with the return of Tyler Hero, I don't think it would impact him that much. He should still be getting around 25 minutes. 25 to 27, 28 minutes is his minute range. As long as he can maintain that, I feel good about his value the rest of the way. On the season, he's been so good. 31st ranked player, averaging just 24 points. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be let's see, averaging 1.3 blocks only. Maybe he could average a little bit more blocks. But yeah, he's playing super well at the moment. Look, if you can get him back for a top 30 player, right? I'm looking at the names here. Like, if you can do Kawhi Ware plus somebody to get Karl Anthony Towns, who is struggling pretty in a major way right now, right? If you can get him for Derek White, I would do it. Otherwise, just hold. He does have a lot of upside. And, they're playing him with Bam. But I do see there'll be times during the season where he doesn't get 20 minutes. Maybe he only gets 20 minutes a night. There will be certain games or certain matchups, which is the reason why, like, if you tell me he's going to have 20, he's going to play 28 minutes the rest of the season, right? I feel pretty good about him being a top 40 player. It's just his minutes is going to be fluctuating. Bam Adebayo, 13 rebounds and a steal. A decent game from Bam. And Larson, I think with Tyler Hero back, he's going to lose a lot of minutes. But let's see. If you already have him, hold on to him and just see how things go. For the Sixers, Tyrese Maxey struggled a little bit here. I think he hurt his shoulder a little bit. Hopefully it's not too serious. 27 points, still a decent game with 5 threes. And Paul George continued to struggle. Paul George, he's been struggling for, 3 years now? The line looked fine. He just cannot shoot. 5 assists, still in the block, 10 points. And Andre Drummond with 24 rebounds. Andre Drummond is a must roster. We already know at this point Embiid is going to miss more games than he plays. I want to see the betting odds on that. He's going to definitely miss more than 42 games, or the rest of the way 41 games, or the remaining games he's going to miss more than 50%. He's really cooked, Joel Embiid. So Andre Drummond should get a lot of minutes. Quentin Grimes hit 15 points. He started actually. So that's fine. Justin Edwards had 2 steals and 2 blocks. Yeah, these guys could be rostered, and then you have Jerry McKinn came off the bench. If you need points and threes, yeah, he's a good guy to have. 15 points and 3 threes, and his minutes has been trending up as well. Move on to the next one. The Charlotte Hornets, they lost to the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks, they just keep winning games. It's a back-to-back for them. It don't matter. LaMelo was out this game, so Colin Sexton had a decent one with 22 points and 4 assists. And 1-3. Yeah, if LaMelo is out, he could be a good stream option. Ryan Carpenter, he hurt his ankle, so they started Mason Plumlee. Oh my goodness. I guess they just don't trust Musa Dabate. Dabate, in the short term, we could have him 11 rebounds, good efficiency across the board. That's not bad. And Miles Bridges had 21 points. And how about Concanipo? 34 minutes, 20 points, 7 threes. He's been unbelievable. I do worry, with LaMelo, you have Miles Bridges, and then you have Brandon Miller, what his usage is going to be. But some of these guys are always out, so he's gonna have plenty of opportunity to have big games on this team. But ultimately, the problem with him is he doesn't. Yes, he can shoot threes, but he doesn't get a lot of defensive stats. So that's going to really hold back his fantasy value. For the Atlanta Hawks, all the guys are playing well. Jalen Johnson, 28 points, 11 assists. His assist has been incredible. Doing a lot of playmaking, 8 rebounds and a steal. I want to say sell high. He is the 13th ranked player, right? Averaging 7 assists right now. I don't think there's a way for him to average 7 assists if Trey comes back, because Trey is going to have the ball in his hands all the time. So, and a big problem with him this year, we have to nitpick Jalen Johnson, is he's not getting any blocks. Everything else is fine. I do worry about his free throw. He's shooting 80%. Right? But everything else, like, he can maintain that, if not better. So, pretty good stuff from Jalen Johnson. Okongwu, Porzingis out. Of course, he plays well. It's somebody, he's a must roster. It's just when Porzingis is healthy, he's not going to play 35 minutes. But, Porzingis is out so many games, so it's fine. Right? It's totally fine to have it. Okongwu on the season. Okongwu. He's a 49th ranked player. Actually, that's probably where, that's a fair rank for him. Top 50, top 60, maybe a little bit high right now. Dyson Daniels, yes, amazing. He really started picking it up the last couple of weeks with Trey out. And then Nikhil Alexander-Walker, big sell high. I would add him in a 2-for-1 trade, right? Because Trey eventually is going to be back. And I still expect him to play good minutes with Trey back, but not like this. He had 38-point game the other night, and then 23 points here. So with 3 threes and with a steal and a block, he's playing really well at the moment. The next game, while the Celtics dropped 138 points, they beat the Magic. It was a back-to-back for the Magic. Anthony Black started because Jalen Suggs was out. Decent game with 14 points and 2 threes, 5 assists. Right? We need to roster Anthony Black, in the short term, as long as Banchero is out. He's been getting a lot of minutes. Desmond Bane, the minutes were low across the board. It was a back-to-back. Maybe it was also a blowout. So they're playing their guys a little bit. The Magic came back in the fourth, but the game was kind of out of reach in the fourth, so that's why the minutes were low. Franz Wagner missed a bunch of free throws, but yeah, he's been playing really well with Banchero. I mean, the argument could be made, like, hey, they don't need Banchero. They've been playing very well, right? They obviously lost the game here, but have Franz Wagner running the show is pretty good. When I watch Banchero play, I mean, he's a big dude, but he takes way too many mid-ranges. I think that's where his comfort zone is, but, at some point you got to use your big body, right? And he's not the greatest when it comes to hitting those mid-range shots. For the Celtics, Derrick White, pretty good game. 16 points, 2 threes, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks. This is why we love him in fantasy. Hopefully he starts playing better and better. Him and Peyton Pritchard still kind of underperforming, I would say. But Peyton Pritchard on the season are actually, White is already, 41st ranked player is still, it's already decent, not that horrible. Peyton Pritchard is 96. I think he's a top 60 player. So I will continue to buy low. If I can get him for like a top 100 player, I would definitely do that. Jaylen Brown, great game, 35 points, 8 assists, and 2 threes. Pretty good stuff from Jaylen Brown. But on the season, his rank is pretty low, like 85th ranked player. Why? Because he's not getting those defensive stats, and he's shooting 77% from the free throw line and 3.4 turnovers. So really, if you look at across 9 categories, his best category is points. Really good points, yes. Everything else, a little bit assist, right? Field goal wise, is good, but everything else is like, is really average. And many of them is below average, especially the efficiency categories. Move on to the next one, the Clippers. Well, we got Kawhi back, but James Harden immediately, just have 19 points. So, yeah, I think with Kawhi healthy, Harden is still going to be very good, but he's just not going to score as many points. That's something I forgot to mention. Like, Harden definitely could be a sell high because he's been popping off without Kawhi Leonard. But Kawhi's gonna miss a lot of games, right? Kawhi had 4 turnovers, 4 fouls, of course, very efficient and with 3 steals, pretty good. With Zubac, 18 points, but just not enough with versus the Cavs. The Clippers got to start winning some games. Otherwise, Kawhi, of course, he's cooked. But Harden also could be cooked when it comes to April and they out of the playoffs. They are a great team. I mean, Cavs obviously a good team, but they still have time. They got to start ramping up. If I were to bet, I still think they at least can make the plays. But it's getting there, right? The Western Conference is pretty competitive, and right, where things are right now, I mean, they still have a nice cushion because for whatever reason, a lot of teams are underperforming right now. Yeah, they're only like 1 game out of the 10th seed, so they're still right there. The Grizzlies also a mess. Who is the 10th seed right now? John Collins, can't really trust him. Played 30 minutes, had 2 blocks, but nothing else. It's been hard for him to find his role on this team. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, Mobley, yeah, I can't believe I'm saying this, but with Mobley, maybe the strategy could be you also pound free throws. Oh my God, 0 for 4. Everything else is great. 2 steals, 2 blocks, 10 rebounds, 9 for 12 from the field, 18 points. But my God, his free throws. That's always been a concern with him. Like he was never a great free throw shooter, around high 70s. If a guy is shooting high 70s, like a guy like Siakam, there's some weeks he shoots 90%, or he doesn't miss, and then some weeks he shoots 50%. And on the weeks where he shoots 50%, it's going to be very hard for you to win free throws. Especially he's a high volume guy. Like, actually Mobley, I don't know how many free throws he takes, but Siakam gets to the line quite a bit. Donovan Mitchell with 37 points and 5 threes. Really good game from Donovan. And Darius Garland had 8 assists. Not much else. Garland, I would buy low on Garland. But when I say buy low, throw him like a top 80, top 90-ish type of player. He's not even ranked right now. Yeah. Some of the names I'm looking at, if I could trade... Andre Drummond, who should have good value the rest of the way, right? Andre Drummond plus somebody. How about Jeremy Grant? Actually, I would trade Jeremy Grant. If you can get Andre Drummond plus Jeremy Grant, whose numbers don't look that bad. It's just these guys, long-term value, I don't really believe it. Especially Jeremy Grant. But, they just find a way to play him every game. So... Yeah, DeAndre Hunter had 17 points. Oh, DeAndre Hunter actually is a guy that I would trade for Darius Garland for sure. 4 threes. Hunter on the season, he's been pretty good, to be honest. Very consistent. 118th ranked player, 18 points and 2.3 threes. All right, moving on to the next one. We have the Nets. They lost to the Raptors, 109-119. How about Michael Porter Jr.? Continues to play super well. Big sell high, in my opinion. All the Brooklyn Nets guys, if they play well. With Michael Porter Jr., you got a top 30 play back, I would do it. Top 50, 60, that's like, okay. I personally wouldn't do it. That wouldn't call it sell high, If you sell high, get a top 30 play, that's sell high. 4 threes, pretty good stuff. And he can actually get assists if he want to, right? 4 assists here again. Claxton continued to be just amazing. 11 rebound, 2 blocks. I would also say Claxton is a big sell high. He is... Well, his rank is not that high, actually. 72nd. I thought he's playing so much better than his rank. I thought he's at least a top 50 player. But no, because he's shooting 70% from the free throw line on 5 attempts. That's what's holding him back. Noah Clowney, yeah, I mean we want to have him, but just the efficiency could be a little bit rough. And Terrence Mann is still on this team. He's not really fantasy relevant. For the Toronto Raptors, yeah, they're just playing super well together. Right now, that's why I feel the East is so open this year. The top 2 teams are Detroit Pistons and Toronto Raptors, which in the playoff, when playoff comes around, let's say they play Bucks in the first round, let's say. Like, who do you have your money on? Of course, Detroit, they won 12 straight, and the Raptors, they're 9-1. They're beating a lot of teams, but I don't know how many these wins are quality wins. But I do know Brandon Ingram been playing pretty good, especially getting those defensive numbers. 2 steals here, 4 assists, 14 points. Yeah, if you drafted him this year pretty late, I think he's projected to be pretty late. Great value, great value. Scotty Bombs, 2 steals and 4 blocks. It is versus a bad team, but still very good stuff. Jacob Porter was out, so Sandro started. They started this guy, Sandro, 2 threes. Sure, you could stream him if you need some. Does he get a lot of rebounds? If you just need some counting numbers across the board. Emmanuel quickly, pretty rough game. I think, man, when you have all these players on the team, right, a lot of high usage guys, unless quickly can get you 7 assists a game, which, 6 assists, right? It's hard for me to see to him. Well, he's 53rd ranked right now. I don't see how he can move higher. He's only averaging 16 points. Maybe that could be a little bit better, but when you have all these guys, it's hard to get usage, right? 6 assists is already pretty good, and I guess he's only shooting 77% from the free throw line. He's usually a 95% guy, but him also is getting a lot of defensive stats, 1.4 steals. So both him and Brandon Ingram, before they got to the Raptors, they don't get steals. On this team, they all started playing defense and get steals. So a lot of times sometimes it's not necessarily always the players, the system too, the defensive systems that they played. They just gonna generate a lot of defensive. Just like Oklahoma City Thunder, the type of defense they play, they're gonna generate a lot of defensive stats because they're very aggressive. Well, they blew out the Blazers. Jeremy Grant had 21 points, but he was a minus 29 in his 24 minutes. Kamara had 2 steals and block. Kamara has not had a good start to the season, but in my opinion, he's a must roster, 153rd ranked player. The reason he's a must roster is because he gets 35 minutes a game, and at some point the shooting is gonna come. He's only shooting 41%, so if he shoots like 48, 49, he will be like 14-point average, and maybe get you a couple more defensive stats. Like he can be like top 80, top 90 type of player. Donovan, he struggled with 5 fouls, 20 minutes. Danny Advia also had a bad game. That's to be expected when you play Oklahoma City Thunder. We look at OKC. Yeah, Shade, he doesn't need to play full quarters. 37 points, just crazy good efficiency. Portland had no answers for him. I feel like, with Shea, right, you in the playoff, you got to take the ball out of his hands. Just double him. Take the ball out of his hands and let somebody else make a play. Jalen Williams might be that guy in the playoffs that he has to do a lot of playmaking. I don't know when he's going to be back. He's been out for a while. And A.J. Mitchell off the bench goes 8 for 8. Yeah, he's a good stream. Same thing with Isaiah Joe, but they're not much rosters. If you can sell him for any value, I definitely would. I don't believe in A.J. Mitchell long term. He's a really good player. This is the problem. Like all these guys off the bench, they're all pretty high lottery picks because Thunder, well, not all of them. There might be some 2nd round picks there, but they draft very well. And this year they're probably gonna get a couple high. I don't know how many picks they have. They still have an unbelievable number of picks. So guys off the bench, they're all very, very good, right? Alex Rudd, they saving him for the playoffs for sure. Isaiah Hartenstein, 14 rebounds and 3 blocks in 22 minutes. Yeah. Cason Wallace got his 2 steals, and Chet Holmgren really struggled but had 3 blocks and 9 rebounds. Yeah, all these guys just putting up. It's just too easy. 17-1. Some people already start talking about can they go for the record, the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think when they actually close to a record, I think the teams are gonna take them way more serious. Trying to stop them from getting there. But now it's like, okay, they're a good team. We know they're a good team. But this is a historical start. De'Aaron Fox, well, the next game is the Spurs lost to the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix Suns, Devin Booker is not playing well, but yeah, because they play defense, they've been playing really well. 8-2 in their last, Without Wemby, of course, the Spurs also they're having a good year too. Without Wemby, obviously it's going to be tougher to win games, but they're still winning games. I think they lost here, but they won the last game. De'Aaron Fox, with Wemby out, he should have a high usage, but only 3 assists, 26 points. But the biggest change with De'Aaron Fox last couple years, I would say, is the free throws. Look at this, 14 for 16. He used to be like a 70% free throw shooter, high 70s, maybe 75. Really good this year, and really good last year too. Devin Vassell hit 3 threes with the steal and the block, pretty good. Luke Cornett, he could be streamed with Wemby out. Harrison Barnes had 11, just some efficiency and some points if you need that. And same thing with Champagne, need some rebounds, some threes, who had 12 rebounds. And Keldon Johnson too with Wemby out. But now none of the Spurs guys are that exciting. And you also have Castle out for a little while. Not a lot of fantasy thing going on with this team. For Phoenix, Dylan Brooks, my goodness, 25 points. He took 24 shots. Jalen Green is going to be back, and I do also expect Jalen Green to put up pretty good numbers. And I think they will help. Both guys will help out Devin Booker, who's been struggling in a major way. And of course, that's part of the growing pain, right? The entire defense, other team's defense is focusing on you. So, you're going to have a lot of rough games. But, I think that with return with Jalen Green should help Devin Booker. Jordan Goodwin had a big one with 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 steals. If he starts the next game, sure. Mark Williams, not bad, 11 points and 14 rebounds, and Royce O'Neal hit 3 threes. Good win by Phoenix. They're their ceiling for sure is lower than previous years this year, but their floor I feel like is a lot higher. They got rid of Bradley Beal, so that's a big win. The next game is the Lakers. They barely beat the Jazz on the road, and Luka played 40 minutes to get it done. So yeah, Luka is by far still the number one option. So even LeBron's back, you shouldn't be too worried about Luka. He's not going to average 40 points, but his usage is still sky high. Added 3 steals as well. Overall, pretty good. Still, I consider this a good game by Luka. But of course, with Luka, the counting numbers look good. The efficiency sometimes, and a lot of times, don't look good. 10 for 24 here. Austin Reeves also struggled, but still had 22 points and 10 rebounds. And LeBron is going to average a lot of assists this year, maybe. He also played 34 minutes, 8 assists, and 17 points. It's Luka's team. LeBron understands that. So he's still going to average close to 20 points, I think. And there will be games he goes for 35 points. But he's definitely taking it easy and saving it for the playoffs. And, this might be his last year. We'll see. Chris Paul came out and said this will be his last year. I feel like LeBron would make it a bigger deal if this were his last year. So maybe this is not his final season. He could definitely still play 20 minutes, right, for a couple more years. For the Utah Jazz, Lauri Markkanen struggled. 20 points. He was red hot, last couple of weeks. So if you sold high on him, when I say sell high, like if you got a top 20, top 15, you can't trade him to get Karl Anthony Towns. I think that's a big win for if you get Karl Anthony Towns. So you still try to get that. Cat is still struggling, but they're very similar actually. But Cat should have more rebounds and more efficiency, while Lauri Markkanen might have a little bit more high scoring. Keontae George continues to be unbelievable. 4 threes, 27 points, and 8 assists. Great. Ace Bailey, the minutes are coming up. 32 minutes here. Yeah, you could have him, but I just don't know what he really provides. He's a plus 14 though. Like the starters played really well for the Jazz. Lauri Markkanen is a plus 19, but it's the bench guys who lost a lot. I wouldn't really touch any of the bench guys like Isaiah Collier, maybe if you need assist, right? That's it, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.